YouTube, back with another one. The title of this one is Where Did I Mess Up? And so I'm gonna just start it like this. Maybe 4 years ago, 2020, I used to get, and even before this, I used to get very irritated by the things that I didn't like that other people did around me, right? Which I really have no control over. But I would just separate myself from the people that did things that I did not like. And so it took me into a space where I was I was lonely but never alone. Like I might not I might have been alone but I never was lonely. That's what I meant to say. I might have been alone but I never was lonely. And and I still am kind of like that till this day. But the difference is I started to accept some of those things and just try to ignore it instead of totally disconnecting from it. I'll try to just accept it as what they are doing. And one thing I've noticed with doing that is I'm I'm not my the light about me is not the same, because the reason that a lot of that stuff was irritating me is because I did a lot of work bettering myself, and and just those things would just irritate me so bad. But when I just said, okay, they're not gonna stop, and sometimes I do have to be around these people, instead of just totally disconnecting from them, I just gotta accept it for what they are doing. But when you start just accepting situations, that's when I seen myself go downhill. I started accepting way more things that I did that I shouldn't have never been doing, right? I started to accept those things uh, just because I was around people, and then I started to accept them as who they are. And that's my thing about judging. People say judging is wrong, but I feel like it is very necessary. Well, once you know who somebody is, and then you move accordingly. Like, if somebody shows you traits, you can say you're judging them and putting them in this category, but is that really wrong? You feel me? And I understand it can be wrong in certain situations, but it's all how you think of it. It's all about your perspective of certain things. And what I'm learning is you can't just accept people for who they. You can have people, but then you can't just, at least for me, I can't just accept everybody for who they are and still continue to be around them. You feel me? If that doesn't align with me, I can't just accept it. I can accept them for being them, but then I have to remove myself, instead of just accepting that about them and trying to balance out the differences, if you understand what I'm saying. But that's where I'm thinking I went wrong, bro. That's where I know I went wrong. Starting to accept things that I never would accept. And that's because I was thinking it's just because they're doing it, and I accept it for them doing it. But no, you don't have to accept anything. And that's what I'm starting to realize. You don't have to accept it. And that's when I put myself first and not worry about how other people feel. That's when I feel the best, putting myself first. And I have a very big heart, so I feel like that's something I have to learn, just to keep putting myself first and not put other people's comfortability as high as my comfortability is, because it doesn't really matter how they're feeling, because that they you feel what I'm saying? But uh hopefully everybody got what I wanted them to get from this vid. I appreciate anybody watching. Let's go.